Hi everybody, and welcome to the last session in marker storage, and we will be finishing up our boxes today. Today, the first step that we're going to need to do is to create the dividers that go between your markers, and I'm going to show you how to do that. And it's pretty easy. It just takes a little bit of measurements and sometimes just a couple extra cuts, you know, just to get it just right, because you do want these to fit between your to fit in here very, very snugly, because if you don't, then it won't hold up for you. You want it to be as snug as you can get, and I'm just going to show you right here how snug it really needs to be so that you get proper support. And see how I had to really push on that to get that in there? And this is really, really, you know, sturdy. So it's going to support your markers. And I'll show you what you need to do. Okay, the first thing that you're going to need is, number one, your box probably isn't square, so both of these measurements are probably going to be different. Mine was not square. Mine was off by probably close to 1/4 of an inch. So, and that's just the nature of the beast, because these boxes are not, they're not square, because they've been, you know, thrown around in the stores, you know, and they're sturdy, they're just not square. Let's put it that way. So the first thing that you need to do is you need to measure the diagonals on the compartment that you're working on first. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and measure my diagonals, and I'm going to see that my diagonal on this side is 6.5 inches. Okay, and that's from edge to edge, and that's what you want. If you have to trim a little bit off in order to get it to fit down in there, that's okay, but you want it to be as snug as possible. So cut your chipboard or your recycled cardboard or whatever you're using from edge to edge. Okay, so really just put your ruler all the way up in there, and then look here, and I've got 6.5, and then I think this side on the top is also 6.5. Yes, it is. So I know. And then the other thing that you need to do is measure your depth again, and mine is right at 4.5. Okay, so now I know that my measurements are 6.5 inches wide by 4.5 inches in depth. Okay, so I went ahead and I cut my chipboard just for the sake of time here. And go ahead and cut your chipboard now, or cut your recycled cardboard, whatever. If you have to measure it with a ruler and cut it out with scissors, that's fine. If you have a cutter that cuts chipboard, then that's great too. For my chipboard, I have two cutters. One I just found that I didn't even realize I had, and I was out in my storage putting my Christmas stuff away yesterday, and I noticed that I had it. But this is what I usually use to cut my chipboard. It's a cutter bee. You know, you have to make a couple passes, but for the most part, it's pretty square and it works pretty good. But I did find out in my storage yesterday that I did have one of these big Fisker cutters. It's a rotary trimmer, and it works pretty good too. You do have to make sure that you have a good handle over here on your paper so that it doesn't slip on you, because there isn't anything here to hold it in. It's just, you know, wide open basically. But this does cut through chipboard, and I cut through mine in one pass. So this works really well. You do have to apply quite a bit of pressure to the cutting piece here though. And it could also be that my blade is probably dull, because honestly I don't even remember buying this. So I know that it's at least probably 10 years old. You know, so anyway, that's what I use. So once you have your chipboard cut, which you can go ahead and pause the video here if you want, or if you're watching the whole thing and then starting to work, that's fine too. But if you're going to work along, then go ahead and pause the video here. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to create the X in your chipboard in order to create your storage. What you need to do is your longest piece. Sometimes you have one that's a little bit longer. On this one, on the bottom one that I did, this side was like almost 1/4 of an inch longer, so I used that one as my middle point. But since both of these are the same and they're both measuring in at 6.5, I'm going to go ahead and draw myself a line at 3.25. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show you how I do this. What I do is I just draw myself a line at 3.25, and then I come down to maybe just a little past the middle. And I draw myself another line, and then just as a guide, and it doesn't have to be perfect, you know, whatever. just draw yourself a cut line right there. And then what I like to do is I like to take just a smidge on one side of the line, and I just cut right down. And chipboard this is medium weight, so it's kind of hard to cut through with scissors. Okay, and then I just take the other side just a little bit off of the mark, you know, just to get myself a pretty decent, you know, valley there. Let me just trim that up just a little bit. Okay, this is going to be my piece that sits like this. Okay, so I'm going to show you. I'm just going to go ahead and put that in there. Okay, now I have one side of that X. All right, now I need to do the same with this one, except I'm going to come from the bottom up, and you can just flip it over if you cut the wrong side, it doesn't matter. Okay, so this is also 6 inches, 6.5 inches wide. So I want to mark again at 3 1/4. And then again toward the middle at 3 1/4, and then draw my line. Okay, and then again I'm just going to go ahead and take my scissors, and I'm just going to cut up that line a smidge to the left and a smidge to the right. Okay, and then I'm just going to pull that piece off, and now I have my top piece. And all you do, and this is really easy, is you just slide it in between that notch, okay, and then that fits right down inside there. So now you have 2 pieces of storage, okay? You have your X here and your X here. And your markers just slide right in, or your pencils or whatever. So it works out really good. So now this is the bones of the marker storage. Now we get to do the fun part and decorate it. What I will probably do here is I'm going to decorate in real time and then speed it up for the video. So there won't be a whole lot of talking through this. If I remember something that I need to tell you, then I'll go ahead and slow it back down and I'll tell you. But otherwise, this portion of the video will be in the fast mode. Before I go to that, I did want to tell you guys that the trims and for the most part, the trims and the goodies that I am using for this project are from Esmeralda's shop, and it's Pro 31 Designs. As you know, I'm on the design team for her, and I wanted to go ahead and give her a little shout out because these were compliments of her. So although this isn't a full design team project, I wanted to make sure that I included something of her shop in here because I really do think that, you know, her products are amazing, and I like, you know, the variety that she has, and she has so much stuff now. I'm so excited. So I will put all the links down below so that you can check her out too. All right, here we go. This is my second completed box, and I hope that you guys have followed along and that you have enjoyed the process. And I'm just going to put a few markers in here so you guys can see that all of that extra nonsense with the fabric on the inside will be hidden once the markers get put inside here. So I'm not really worried about that. Just because you can't really tell anymore on the top. You can't see it anymore. Once your markers or whatever you have on the inside is there, you don't have to worry about it. It's you're not going to have any of the same issues. So I'm just going to fill this one up with some other colors, and I do have a bunch more markers that I ordered from all that scraps that I hope will be here Tuesday, because I think the post office is closed again on Monday. So I hope to be able to fill up, you know, this one too, as well as maybe start another one. So I hope that you guys have had fun following along with me on this journey for this class, and I hope that you guys have created something that you really like for your storage pieces in your studio or your scrapbook room or your space, whatever. If you have created one, I would really, really, really love to see it. I know that Fran has already posted her rendition of this, and I would like to see anybody who's completing this. I would love to see it, even if it's just a photo that you email to me, or if you do a response video, that would be great. Or if you have a blog and you post it on there, just let me know. I'd love to come take a look, and you know, because I'm sure that the things that you have created are amazing, and even much different than what I've created. So I hope to see all of you guys' creations soon. All right, you guys, have a great weekend and have a very happy and safe New Year's Eve. Please don't drink and drive. All right, bye-bye.